Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video and to another highlight reel for Season 33 in Week 2. This is going to be a bit shorter than the last video. I don't have as many fights because I was doing more of a testing week, so I have dropped a bit in my rank. I didn't win many. I think I only won one fight actually because I was just testing a lot of counters and things, trying to see if I could find anything new or interesting. And I did have some pretty decent results, so without further ado, if you do happen to enjoy the video, a like and comment is always much appreciated. Make sure to hit that sub button down below. We're so close to 1,000 and I do have my sub special coming out soon. I was still working on that and hopefully get it ready and done in time. But anyway, let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so first off we have Bam v Dooku with Talon and Malak. Quite an odd squad. I did think it was a bit weird, but I thought Bam would work here because of his healing immunity. Also, we get tenacity down from IG-11. Should help chew through Malak. The idea, at least. We're just building out Whistling Birds. We're going to try and kill Talon first because she's going to give 10 meter. Talon's dead, we can get rid of Dooku. Lucky for the stun there. That's just a case of trying to land see down on Malak again. Nice stun there, which is good. I think this kills off Dooku. We've got some nice healing immunity on Malak. Nicely down a stun, that's already good. Just trying to see if we can keep up all our banners. Stun there, it's nice. Trying to see if we can keep our full banners, but very unlikely without any tenacity down, which we do get here. Burning applied, and then luckily we land that shock. I do think Malak does his drain, which obviously stops him from healing because he's got shock, but that does obviously produce our banners. And we have it for 56. So next we have Bad Batch versus the team that you just saw me using. So Bad Batch v Bam with Quill and IG. Wasn't a very smooth fight, but we do get a decent score here. Also trying to trigger Bam there just to make him use his Whistler Birds, obviously while it's on low stacks. And then for some reason the team just seemed to like focusing on Hunter. It was very hard to just try and get him without any shock, because I do a bit of misplay here. I thought the heal cleansed from tech, but it doesn't. So you'll see me waste that in a second on. Also, as you saw, I did the swipe, and that doesn't even cleanse as well. So I've just left Hunter out in the open. So luckily we're able to dispel with Echo, but then Quill's like, nah, stunned. Now just trying to get rid of Bam. Twist, get a nice stun on IG. Trying to see if we can keep our banners. Which we didn't get because of the burning on Echo, unfortunately. $1 banner for me right at the end. Now Bad Batch again versus Hux and First Order Type Phasmacron. Fortunate that resisted. I was trying to go for a stun and dominance though, so they won't counter at the moment. Then I was like, okay, we'll just get rid of sort of TIE pilot. Here, then we think we kill Hux next. It's a case of seeing if we can get banners, which I believe we do. I saw the Stormtrooper doesn't do really enough damage to steal too many banners with a lot of health and protection recovery on a team. Bad batch. They have it for 57. And this is an interesting one. So I saw that Boss Greef Mando is a very good 3v counter for Raddus. And I just thought, was there a way to use Boss elsewhere as a tank? Because like you're very limited on tag options for bounty hunters. So I thought, let's try the opposite of what Boss does. So trigger Dengar's contract as he's in lead spot. You just have to hit the healthy SLI 10 times rather than the weakest 10 times like you would with Boss. And his lead actually reduces the damage of the opposite team quite significantly. So as you can see, they're not really doing a lot of damage to me. And Rogue One isn't really a hard-hitting team, even with the Omicron. There aren't really many characters in there that can do a real amount of damage, which is why Mando is able to stand out in the open. Obviously, because Dengar and Greef are pretty much stealth the whole time. But as you can see, it is a relatively straightforward fight, and get decent banners from this. I can't remember how many exactly. If max banner win this one. We do have another one coming up after this. Does max banner win there? And now we have one versus a non-Omicron banner. So this one, we'll see that my RNG wasn't as lucky. I did get some annoying things on Mando, like ability block, which stopped me using my Annihilate earlier, and yeah, just stuff that was really hindering me. And I think it is a lot tougher against a double attacker lineup rather than a Raddus, Jin and tank lineup. Get an Annihilate here. Raddus, obviously Raddus's Annihilate can't be, not Raddus's Annihilate, sorry, Mando's Annihilate can't be revived, so obviously if you just kill Raddus straight off the bat, Jin won't be able to revive him. That. Calling in Dengar with Mando now that I have my contract, because Dengar can call someone to assist with his contract triggered. Obviously without his contract you do want to be calling in Greef for the guaranteed double tap. You get contract with, and that was would have been a 56. Obviously I have been trying out some counters like I said, so some of these fights in here are going to be actually like that. You'll see lower banners than what they would be from a first attempt, just because I was trying things out. DR Malak versus Iden. So you're just trying to get Death Mark onto Iden, so what you kill her while she's got Death Mark, she can't revive you there. Just a case of I was trying to get to Alex Drain, but we didn't get it unfortunately. So those banners there. That would have been a 54. Now we have Darth Vader Malak versus Malgus. This is a better fight than we'd have seen in my previous Grand Arena highlight video. You play this a bit better, actually get some better banners here. Almost one shot by Malak, that was pretty nuts. Damage from Sith Marauder. A bit of AoE damage there to kill off Talon. I thought I'd just use the Lacerate on Malgus because he can't get feared anyway. for me at least. And now we're just going to try and keep Malgus under control, landing those ability blocks where possible with Starkiller. Have a better Datacron equipped as well. See, Malgus is gaining a huge speed and offense boost from Talon and Marauder dying. Luckily this time it wasn't enough for him. It's the drain there trying to stack up his Dark Loyalty stacks, whatever it's called, from Malak. Obviously once we get his max stacks on that, you can start to apply Tenacity Down. Well, you can already apply Tenacity Down, but you can apply Healing Immunity with that Tenacity Down as well, so that's going to be really helpful for stopping Malgus get all its health and protection back. He's got one shot again. This time by Malgus rather than Marauder. Ability block there, which is good. We apply the shock, stop him from healing. And I was like, I'll drain him just so I can get the max stacks of Dark Loyalty or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. You'll have to tell me in the comment section what the buff is called on Malak. We have it for a 54. Now we have a Darth Vader versus Malak, but this time with a Bastiller and Marauder lineup. The reason I brought Inquisitors here is because I just wanted to take some of the heat off Darth Vader, because while these sides are relatively easy to kill, it will be the Omicron Malgus that will be the problem at the end. And when obviously 9th Sister and 7th Sister allows you to take some of the heat off from Darth Vader to get the job done. It's relatively straightforward, just cycling round, landing debuffs, bring everything, all our cooldowns off. And eventually it will just come down to Malgus left. Then you'll just have to line up a nice culling blade, kill him, because obviously those dots will reapply. He cleanses himself. So now I was just trying to land as many debuffs as we can. Obviously purge stacks and everything will really help Vader do more damage with his Color Blade. Quite unfortunate not to get the kill there, but he's lost all his protection up at least, so another kill shot should kill him. 5 stacks of purge days and ability block, which is nice. Stops him doing his leap ability, which keeps 9th Sister protected. Now we can go for a heal. And game over for 55. Or for Darth Vader solo versus a Dooku Barriss Starkiller squad. It's quite a common Starkiller squad on 5s, at least not 5, sorry, 3s. And because obviously you're just relying on Barriss to stop you doing any more damage, and both Dooku and Starkiller counter, but as you'll see in a minute, I did actually accidentally use a basic onto Starkiller where he countered, but not that it would have mattered anyway because I would have had my revive from my level 9 Datacron. So I meant to do AoEs on both Dooku and Starkiller. Just basic on Barriss. I think it's here, do I? Yeah, it's here. Need to counter, I was like, oh, that was the wrong ability. There we go, back to the cycle of AoEs and not hitting those with the basic that can counter. Get to a point where I can start chucking the saber at them, so I think we start throw the saber at Barriss first just to get her out of the way with her annoying Zeta. The other two die off pretty easily. Could have probably kept going all the way through 5 minutes without them taking any damage, with seeing how many dots I could get on them, but obviously dragging it on longer than you need to. Chuck the saber at her there. Throw the saber at Starkiller. Then we just do an AoE. Just trying to make sure he died to dots, but unfortunately he didn't take a turn before I did again. So we did drop a banner there. Now Darth Vader versus GG, probably one of the quickest fights ever. Pretty simple, same strategy as before in the last fight. Just keep cycling around your AoE, and then obviously don't need to get many dots or debuffs on General Grievous. As long as he's just above 100% health, you can chuck the saber at him. He'll die, because 144,000 damage will kill most GGs out there. Even with like 5 debuffs, it's pretty nuts. So that's a nice easy 59 there. And now we have one that I probably wouldn't recommend. This was extremely dodgy, and dodgy in the fact that I did get luckily with a lot of dodges because of my Datacron I have. Just wanted to see whether we could actually try and solo a JTR with BB8 and R2 squad. They just have a lot of counters and debuffs. It was proving to be a bit annoying, but we are getting really lucky with dodges. So I just wanted to show this fight anyway. So if any of you are thinking of it, I probably wouldn't recommend doing this. Running circles around me. Luckily we can kill JTR there. Deal with some counters. Kill BB8 for a 57. Now we have Hux with first all TIE Pilot Omicron and the Special Forces TIE Pilot as well, against the quite common bin with Resistance Hero Brothers on there. There we have it for a 56. Okay, now this is a bit of an odd one. I was actually using my Captain Phasma Datacron that I've got. But obviously she doesn't need to be in the lead ability for it to work. So I just feel like there are better lead abilities, especially for Gran Arena, like Hux, or I could even use Crew here. To try and see if we could beat the same squad, Bin and the Resistance Brothers. Resistance Heroes, I suppose you're just calling them already actually brothers. But this was a bit of an odd fight. Just trying stuff out, like I said. Probably something I wouldn't recommend either. Not having the biggest success with Phasma's Datacron in a Grand Arena aspect, at least. I know she's obviously really good in Territory Wars, being able to but beat Lord Vader, those sort of squads in with her Omicron in Territory Wars. I just need to work on getting my First Order TIE Pilot up to Relic 5 so I can start to use the team more effectively, I think, because that's what I really need. See, Phasma's whole thing with her recovering health and protection is basically non-existent in a First Order squad, so you'd lose a lot of banners because of that very reason. Obviously she just kills herself off slowly, so you do miss 1 or 2 banners then usually. Okay, now Iden versus CLS, quite a common counter, obviously Empire v Rebels. This time we got a bit unfortunate with Iden getting stunned. So we were able to keep Chewpio under control, which is nice. Basically just waiting for a cleanse from Iden at this point. Got to go for a stun, managed to get it on the second go, do a cleanse, and now we can do the stomp your feet with range. Then we got blinded by Chewie. I was hoping to get a stun there, which we do get. Got another stun there as well, which is nice. Basic to kill Chewpio, and then it's just a case of cleaning up and a death mark. Throwing out the AoE, and he's dead. 56, I say. Yep. And we have Iden versus Resistant Heroes again, and Finn lead. Pretty straightforward. Like the other counters. Massive hit there, almost 60k. Basic from Iden. Another massive hit there. And Basic's finish for now we have something slightly different to what you probably usually see in Grand Arena. I was trying to use Jedi Luke lead for those of you that may not have JML unlocked and maybe looking for some options to use Jedi Luke lead, because it is still very good even in a 3v3 format, just because of that Heroes of Rise ability. There's a very good counter against this team, so Darth Rey Ben Malak team. Some nice banners here. Went for a heal there to get some protection banners back, obviously because shock doesn't prevent protection recovery. Do 56 there, unfortunately, because of Obi-Wan. Now we have the same lineup again. JKL versus Iden with a Grit Datacron. Get rid of Death Trooper first because I wasn't stuck behind a Shore Trooper taunt. Shore Trooper's just been really annoying, not wanting to die. So there's no point going after Iden while he's alive because you just do anything. You'll just keep reviving. Heroes of Rise really is great in a 3v3 format though. These counters probably wouldn't recommend, obviously, if you're going to use Jedi Luke with your JML if you do have him. Just give you other options if you, say for example, Bastler, JML and Watt on defense or something like that. Let's just give you an offensive team to use if you do have JML. That's just a case of killing Iden. So nice 100k hit to finish for 56. And now here's one that I didn't see on GG, but I saw a variant of this squad on GG that beats Malgus. So if you actually have Mace instead of Old Ben, this will go a lot easier because you'll have that ability block on basic, which you'll need to keep Malgus under control. While this one isn't great banners, it is still doable, but I would obviously just recommend taking Mace rather than Obi-Wan. I did in this fight. So I'm going to try and find a fight in week 3 to try this out again. See if we can get some decent banners with a Mace instead of Obi-Wan. Sith Empire Trooper. So I'm trying to remember and tell myself to use basics when possible on Malgus. Went for a blind there just in case he had his AoE. He did, so he missed that, which is nice. we kill off Talon. We give Master Training Gift to old Ben. Give him those extra stats just in case he gets leaped on by Malgus. Did that for the foresight. Get torn up. I do believe everyone gets one shot in a minute by a leap. I'm doing a lot of damage as I thought I would have been at this point, so it was quite frustrating. Obviously he's recovering protection all the time from the other guy's hits. And then yeah, everyone gets one shot, so that was brilliant. But luckily that gives us the extra offense and speed boost that we needed. Get through. I think we get really close and Malgus then leaps Hermit. Probably should have used a special there and use a special there. I was just kind of wanted to kill Malgus and then nope, there goes Hermit. So that was my own fault really. I could have got a couple extra banners there if I was just paying attention to what my abilities were on. And obviously we do get the kill there finally. Oh, JKL versus Mothma, the usual squad you see with Kara and Kyle. This time without Hermit though, because my Hermit was on defense with Rey and Ben, which is proving to be a really annoying squad. I do have a fight against that coming up in this video using JMK, and even with JMK it's just still really annoying to fight, especially with his Omicrons. So my opinion is slowly turning on Ben. I actually think he's a really good character. Definitely start to impress me in 3v3 format, and I do feel like in the 5v5 format with healers, yeah, anyone that just can keep Rey and Ben above the 50% thresholds is going to do really well, I think, in 5v5 format. So we'll obviously see next season. There we have it for 55. Now we have some more JKR counters. First one's against CLS. This one's relatively straightforward in terms of banners and strategy. Obviously mark Chewpio because there's no point marking CLS while he doesn't have call to action because of the extra tenacity he gets. So it's very unlikely you're going to stun him. Jump to get stealth on Grandmaster Yoda. Now, yeah, this is dead for maximum banners. JKR GG like you would normally. So you pass the turn over to Yoda, do a jump, and then spread the buff so you get foresight, so B2 can't steal or apply buff immunity to you. In a 5v5 scenario, whoever B2 targets normally gets buff immunity because of the B1 assist clearing the foresight first, but 3v3 without B1 it is relatively straightforward. We're going to slow the battle down a bit, try and recover some banners, but I was just like I wanted to get through him. So we've got 55 there. Now we've got JKR with Bastila and Jolee, so no Grandmaster Yoda here, against a very common filler team that I see a lot, Poe with the Vets. just trying to stall out here just so we can make sure that we get full banners. Luckily we get an assist here, so we got, I think, the extra banner there on Jolee. And now we have something I don't think I showed in my first video, which is a JMK Mirror. So what I tend to do with JMK Mirrors is hold for either a full or half ult and then go into my ultimate and annihilate their cat, because once cat's dead, even if you do lose, it is a relatively straightforward clean up for gas. Even with General Kenobi gone, if you do lose, it is a very hard clean up with just cat and Kenobi there. We pop our ult here, and we can get rid of their cat. Now it's just a case of getting the other guys down, and should be a 54 banner win, because we have lost obviously our General Kenobi, so that's 2 banners gone, and then it's very likely that someone will get healing immunity on them and you won't be able to recover that banner with a 54 or 55 banner win. Got the saviour pop there, that nice massive 300k hit there. Cat. I'm just trying to build back to ult again. So waiting for them to drop their protection up so I can do some nice big hits with Cat's fleet. See, while they have protection up, they can't be crit. Drop off so I can do bigger damage. Here, 476k there. Nice big hit, almost back at full ult again. Did the special anyway, just for ult charge. We can pass turn back and go into ultimate. Same thing with Kenobi, we're just waiting for protection up to drop off. I don't think we even need it, I think we just dodges there. And that's where my Talon banner went. And now we have the really annoying fight against Rey, Ben, Solo and Hermit. I just don't like this fighting this team at all. She doesn't even have a datacron or anything, which is just super annoying. Even with the stats just from the new datacron, fighting this team is not fun, especially if they got like ridiculous amount of health or health steal and armor. It can be a really annoying team to fight. We're essentially waiting for as an opportunity to be able to use Cat's leap on Hermit. See the amount of damage that just did from Ben Solo, that was huge. I just did that on Cat just because I definitely wanted her to stay alive. If she died, would have been a big problem. See, losing Kenobi would have been kind of a bit of a problem as well, but Cat was more important in this case. At least we can get rid of Hermit now, so all we've got to do is try and keep these guys under control and get the kill shot scenarios that we need in order to get a win here. start using my leaks just to get some armor shreds, just to help me do some more damage. There's our mini savior. Bit worried about this because obviously we didn't have any protection up at all, and obviously Rey's about to use her ultimate. Managed to survive, fortunately for me. Bit of a mistake there, I should have gone after Ben. Bit of a problem on my end, but we do manage to get a nice win here. And pretty awful banners for 52, I believe. Yeah. Now we have JML leftovers, I guess, versus a Rey leftover squad from what you'd usually see these days. No JKL or Hermit like I would normally take with JML against Rey. Just to try and show some different options. The double tanks is nice to help keep Grandmaster Yoda protected. It's going to be our big damage dealer here. Grandmaster did get wiped out by the ultimate. This isn't a great fight, super risky, but it does work. Get things done up for you. If you have a Relic 9 JML, mine's only Relic 8 unfortunately, but this fight is probably even easier. See, most things are dependent on RNG elements with datacrons and everything. But luckily this team didn't have a datacron, so I thought it was worth giving it a go. Also, as you saw from our previous fights, I was using Jedi Knight Luke as his own lead team. I'm essentially just trying to show that you can still beat some good teams with JML and leftover Jedi, so it gives you two teams out of what you would have used for one. Now we have JTR versus Boba. I guess Boba times 2 and Zam. She needs to kill Zam first because of her Omicron. Until once she's out of here, it's ineffective. Doesn't do anything. So it does have a level 6 datacron with the damage immunity. Meter on a special as well, while they were taking a lot of turns. You think about Boba as in this side of Django one, his AoEs are never on cooldown unless they get used too much, so you can spam a lot of turn meter for your team by just throwing out AoEs constantly. Illuminated Destiny, don't get them too often anymore. The final banners on this team is great because I was trying other things out. Oh, it's not even turn me to gain, it's the getting health back. Maybe they were just very well modded. X7 both sign of Django. It's a 24 there, that would have been a 54 banner win. First go. Now we have JTR droids, so I took in a potency datacon as you saw, just to help land those debuffs from JTR's wave, which you got the important one, which is the day, stop Chewpio from assisting. So that if that doesn't land, it can get a bit spicy. So I had to wave my hand at CLS, who's about to take a turn. He's got call to action up now, so his tenacity is reduced. And R2's AoE with the burn can't be dodged or evaded, so just use that if you ever get blinded when you have R2. They'll still take the damage and get the burning effect applied to them. There we have it for a 54. Now a Kira Nest versus Maldo's team again, but this time with Bam rather than Bo. So this is still a long drawn out fight, but we do manage to get a nice win here. Pretty straightforward really. Just waiting to ramp up your damage enough to be able to one-shot them all. Bam's Whistling Birds do absolutely nothing to Nest because each damage is applied one after the other, and as you know from Nest's kit, every time she takes damage she gains protection up, so obviously if they're hitting one after the other, the next Whistling Bird is hitting protection up, which is doing nothing, so it just ramps her protection up basically, and you can't do any damage with Bam's Whistling Birds against Nest, unfortunately. Do get the healing immunity on me though, which is quite annoying because I'm not recovering any protection when I counter. But not too much of an issue. Saves you using a good team against this. It's funny though, those dots just triggered Bam's 20 Whistling Birds immediately. Once again, they do absolutely nothing. A bit unfortunate there with the dodge, but still got plenty of time to get this done. More worried about Candace taking ages to do his attacks than Bam was at that point. So that's the reason why I got rid of him there, even though I could have got rid of Bam when he was sat there with 20 Whistling Birds. Nice big hit to finish 455. Then we have a Nute Jango with B1 versus crew. Probably not something I'd recommend because of this exact reason. You don't really want to be using B1's basic because it doesn't do anything essentially. But obviously your AoE just suicides you because counters that the crew team has assisting. Kill shot with Jango, so he recovers all his protection now, which is nice. E1, 9 second. What's his next go? It's here, I think, for the counter. Yeah. Not really too much of an issue. Big hit with the rocket, trying to land that healing immunity, which you didn't get, unfortunately. Health protection recovery back on Jango again, which is nice. Well, the healing immunity this time, which is great because that means we can kill crew and get our protection recovery back on Jango. So we got 52 there. Now we have a Nute Jango versus Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. Not the biggest fan of this counter, but it's a relatively cheap counter for what you would probably normally use against Qui-Gon Jinn, and can be really good banners if it goes well. Luckily there, Anakin prioritised the getting rid of the extortion rather than doing his AoE, which is really helpful because we can just nuke him with Jango there. Counters are really annoying, but there's not really much we can do about it. Then anyone who decides to steal my banners, but luckily we get a kill shot, I think. Protection back. 6 there in the end. Now Padme v Hux, for what you probably know, will be a max banner fight. Courage is doing all the work here. Protection up is obviously helping us keep our banners nice and high. Didn't get the stun there unfortunately on Hux, so he's going to counter. Decided not to kill Hux because I didn't want Red doing his AoE from the bonus turn that he gets when no one dies. When I was the ability to block, I was like, screw it, I'll go for Hux because what we can do is his basic, which isn't as much of a threat for banners. Last turn to Padme because she was about to have a heal. A nice finish there, 457. Now I have a what is relative ways an expensive counter for Dashcron, essentially using a GL versus a non-GL. This is just one way you can get rid of the Dashcron. Obviously with the optimal team, which I think is the team I'm facing of Vandal and L3. A tanky L3 is super annoying to get through. You don't have any Taunt Ignore or anything like that. And obviously Dash is just taking constant turns. And even if you do get free L3, she might just get regrabbed anyway because of Vandal being there, so bit of an annoying fight. So looking forward to these Datacrons running out on Boxing Day. 53 banners there, so that's awful banners for a GL against a non-GL. Now we have quite an old team, a Smuggler's Datacron on Admiral Ackbar Omicron. Two with Han and Chewie taking in Savage solo. I think I eventually put this on auto because the AI on Savage auto is pretty good in that he'll tend to do his basic till there is an opportunity for him to do his leap when someone is at 50% health. At a 50% health threshold. Some really annoying dodges. Again. Hey, got hit. Hey, dodged again. Let's just take dodge out of the game like completely. I don't know why dodge chance is still a thing. A lot of other games that I know of that did have dodge completely remove that element of RNG from the game. Just don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's fun when it works in your favour, but when you're fighting against it, all you get seeing is dodged on the other side. It is super frustrating. Talk about dodges. Now just put on full auto targeting Shaak T. She needs to die first. All she's going to do is to keep healing up the team. There we have it for 68. Okay, C versus another Starkiller variant, this time with crew lead. And Barriss again with Starkiller. I've linked up crew because I had to, because he was tanking, or taunting, I should say. And we essentially just wait for ultimate at this point. Got ult, and then get rid of the two on the right, and then full auto to finish Barriss. I think that's what we do. Is nice big hit there to finish for third. Well, would have been 58. I think I tried. What I tried before. I think it might be a Wumper. I was trying to see if my Wumpercron made any difference for the crew fight, which you normally wouldn't take against, obviously because of the stun and tenacity down. And you still can't take it against that, so I'm finding this stuff out that I already knew anyway. I'm just seeing if Datacrons make any difference with the extra stat boost for a lot of counters. What I have been finding is that Datacrons just tend, especially this new set, rather than allowing new counters. It just makes your teams harder to fight, or it just makes existing counters better in terms of banners and consistency, and just less RNG essentially if you can get the right stats that you need. Obviously, like you saw in some of the fights I've shown, extra stats like potency are becoming really helpful. This one's also relatively straightforward, just no need to take white anymore against Malgus because he isn't leaping you every turn. So you can just take in C on his own to beat Malgus. Pretty straightforward. B8. Now we have the only LV fight of the video. I didn't think to show all my LV fights again because you already would have seen what I'm using. I'm only including this one because I was using my SLKR datacron, so I just wanted to show you guys how that played out for me. Obviously, against any Maul lineup, you ideally want to be taking a tank with you, just to take all those hits from that special ability that Maul has. I don't know what it's called actually, the second one that does the push thing. Like seething strike or something like that, isn't it? It goes what? So we get both the offense and speed boost from our two allies dying. I do have the stun that gives speed up and offense up, which I just do think is better at the moment to fight LV. Especially combined with the level 3 bonus like I already mentioned. Good at the moment. It's pretty amazing how much damage LV can tank. And the fact that he's an attacker, even funnier really. Definitely should have been a tank. I suppose he doesn't taunt, he just has a massive health pool. I suppose if anything, he's kind of more of a support Galactic Legend than attacker. Especially without his Datacron. It doesn't really do a lot of damage, and it takes him ages to ramp that damage up. So definitely could have seen Lord Vader being released as a support character. I think it would have made everyone feel better about him knowing he would have been a support rather than an attacker. Because obviously you expect attackers to be able to do damage. And unfortunately he doesn't really do a lot of damage without his Datacron. I'm looking forward to that Datacron obviously going, like I've already mentioned. Get our rubbish LVs back. Right, now we have Talon v GG. This is pretty straightforward counter. Basically, 2 bonus turns from you're gonna get from GG is gonna kill off the both your sides, and that'll do the 2 sacrifice revives that you have available. Zombie. Then obviously once GG has plague on him, he can't cleanse, which is normally a condition that he can actually do when he's under 100% health. The plague stops him from doing that. Now I'm just trying to recover my health, make sure that we get full health banners. And the heal, and then he dies to the plague, so we get 54 there. Now we have Traya versus a different Inquisitor lineup, this time 5th brother lead and 2nd sister with a 9th sister. Really surprised with how durable this team actually is, especially in my GOTB testing that I did. Especially fifth brother at the end, he was just tanking like a madman. Kind of like my Zalbar short as well. She's just getting pummeled and somehow managed to survive, and then eventually fifth brother died off to dots, I believe. This is relatively straightforward. The Inquisitors aren't good at all. Also, there's not really much I could do for banners. All we're waiting for is Annihilate, essentially, from Nihilus. Are we even going to need it? No, we're not. 455. Now we have Veers versus Mon Mothma, and this is really easy fight. Like with any Veers fight, just punch things with Dark Trooper and things die, and you get maximum banners. Now for my last selection of fights, and these will be Wumpa fights, so I have a few of them, I believe. This one's obviously versus Sortie and Dark Trooper with T3. Then we have a Wumpa v Gas fight and a Wumpa v Tusken's Omicron. So the annoying thing with this fight is that Dark Trooper obviously dies really easily, but then goes immediately under stealth because of the VIP. It was really super annoying trying to get to him, obviously to kill him. So what we're doing essentially here is just ramping up our damage. And I'm using my Wumpacron, I like to call it, which is a bit of extra health and tenacity if I need it, and the protection up with dots. So as you can see, our protection up is just going through the roof and allows you to save a banner here. We'll get an extra banner, I should say. This is a 59 banner win. Just because they can't get through my protection up is literally impossible. They're just waiting for their inevitable death once my Wumpa has stacked up enough offense. As you can see, we're slowly ramping up our damage. Just put on full auto as well. The only thing was just that Dark Trooper kept using his AoE, so he kept getting a stack of his Dark Trooper squad, or whatever it's called. So he essentially stayed at 3 stacks the whole fight until Sortie died, and then we were able to hit him afterwards. Finally, Sortie dies, so we can just get rid of Dark Trooper now. Very old team. I'd never really expect to see Dark Trooper. Normally it is IG-11 that you see. Bit of a waste of Dark Trooper at least. What a maximum banner win there. Now we have a 1 per V gas. Ever since the Phasmacron have come into effect, 1 per V gas has become a lot easier, but there's still room for the RNG for it to go wrong. But it means you're just less likely to run into that RNG because of the protection up bonus that you're getting. So with 3v3 format, I just tend to go for the sacrifice, get rid of 5s that way, because that means you can get to Rex quick enough before he does Rexolate. He's dead. And here I was just like, I need to smack gas out, and he dies. 57 essentially, because we didn't get full health or protection. And now we have 1 per as my final fight against Tusken Raider Omicron. See, what you're doing here is the same as the sortie fight essentially, but this time rather than ramping up enough damage to kill one at a time, you're just ramping up enough damage to be able to do the slam and kill both of them at the same time so they don't revive. So you essentially just put this on full auto, and this is a relatively straightforward fight. And this is the final fight of my Grand Arena video, so I do hope you have enjoyed watching it. We obviously have one more week coming of season 33, so there'll be one more highlight video coming at the end of that to hopefully help you guys with any sort of counters going forwards, especially into the new season. Some of them obviously won't be as difficult, some may even be harder with the new data that we get, but I do hope that these help out at least. Yeah, I shall catch you in the next one.